Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's service. We'll get started a little bit later, a little bit late, but if you'd like to come up and Oshoko to burn incense, you're welcome to. Well, good morning, everyone. Nice to see you this morning at our Gotan-E service. My name is Ralph Honda. I'll be your chairperson for today. And I know all the Dharma School students are in the back. I always ask this question to the Dharma School students, but if you don't you know the answer, you could raise your hand. But why are we here today to observe Gotan-E? Dharma School students? Anybody? Jaden? That's right. So we're here to commemorate Shinran Shonin's birthday. Shinran is the founder of our Jodo Shinshu tradition, and he has a birthday too, just like everyone else in the room. His birthday is on May 21st. So remember, on May 21st, you could go to your Obutsudan. Maybe you can light a birthday candle for Shinran and say happy birthday for him. Okay? Today we have as our guest speaker, who will share the Dharma, is Reverend John Iwohara from the Gardena Buddhist Church. Welcome, Reverend John, to our temple today. And our officiant is Reverend Smitty, and our accompanist is Robert Yamamoto on the guitar. Okay, we will begin this morning's service with the fruit and floral offering by the 3rd and 4th grade class. Thank you. Okay, we will now have the chanting of the Sanbujo that can be found on page 21 of the service book, and that will be led by Smitty Sensei. And that will be followed by the Hyobyakumon, the intention of the service.
As we chant Sanbujo, we're welcoming the Buddhas, Amida, Shakyamuni, and the Buddhas of all 10 directions to be present with us as we symbolically scatter flowers in joy. Shaka Nyorai Niudo Please join me in Gassho. Today, we gather to observe Gotan-E, the birth of Shinran Shonin, the founder of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, the true Pure Land school. Having entered this Saha world on May 21st, 1173, Shinran Shonin spent his simple and modest life of 90 years with no thought of making himself prominent and impressive among the people. He didn't seek to start a new school of Buddhism or even to have followers or disciples. Yet more than 850 years after his birth, we, along with all other Nembutsu followers, are rejoicing over Shinran's teachings of the incomparable vow of Amida Buddha. We express our sincere appreciation for having encountered the Dharma through Shinran Shonin, and reaffirm our intent to live the Nembutsu path each day. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, 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 Namanda.
Now we will have the chanting of the Jusei-ge, and that can be found on page 58 of the service book. Oh, I'm sorry. wrong chanting this. We're doing Shoshinge this morning. Shoshinge, page 58.
Shigiko Hozo Bosatsu Iniji Zai Seiji Zai Obusho 刀剣勝仏浄土院国土人伝自然幕根ル無常主所願超発形大具勢五個子有師所住十世名所門実法不法無量無変更無下無体公園の少女歓喜知恵子普段安事無所故超日学校小人説一切群上無故障本願名号少女語死心信行願に因上等学所大涅槃非死滅道願成就如来所以公修世唯説弥陀本願会五辱悪事群上会往生如来の実言の発一年喜愛心普段本の特涅槃本上逆法再永入領主死入海一味摂取信仰上昇後意の水波無明安頓内心臓死運無上不真実信人天異名に幸福運無運無死下名無安薬心謙虚大狂気即応超絶語悪臭一切善悪本部人門心如来偶然願仏言古代諸下者善人名踏んだりけ弥陀仏本願念仏邪見教満なく衆生信行十字人に難中死難昔インド最天使論下中華自治域史こそ県内諸国聖書意妙如来本税置き釈迦如来老河線一種五妙南天竺ルジュ大 内自主とせ質の財派有無権先絶大乗無情報召喚議事小安楽賢治難行六六信行異行指導楽億年弥陀仏本願自念即人有必上唯の上昇如来語おほ大偶然天神菩薩増論説奇妙無下古如来永主たら見真実高専王朝大誓願こういう本願力栄光移動群上昇維新記入功徳大崩壊一学入大永修修徳志蓮華創世界即昇信用法精進有本の輪現人図入所自音自用下本師鈍乱老天使上皇乱小菩薩来三蔵ルシ十条教本上専業気楽法天神菩薩論中下報道因果見世願おげんねこゆたり少女死因有信心苦戦本部信心ポ承知承知即涅槃意志無量光明道小修小回復系同社継承道難所唯名浄土活入万全自力変言宗円満徳語感染症三不三神経音語増末法滅道因異生増悪知偶是思安如外小妙化全道独妙部所意公愛上三有逆悪公明明語権因年開入本願大智慧ヨガ長寿今後心狂気一年相互ヨ 三人即所法所市上楽原神公開一大教返帰安女官一祭先祖出身反戦人Hōkai二度小弁流国十悪人有小物火薬罪非集中煩悩証言追不見大非無権上昇が本資源苦妙仏教連民全幕本部人新宗教諸公編集戦弱本願愚悪性現来生じ臨伝下ケチ非常異所し即入弱上無意楽一心時にのぬ愚教大自主しと上際無変極上悪同族自主愚道心有意化心地放送説ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブヤニシクドク平等性一切同つぼ大心往生安楽Sho namanda 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 namanda
Thank you. We will now have the recitation of three treasures on page 91. Three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha.
May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universality, freed from the bondage of selfishness.
Even through ages and myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo me.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo me.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo me.
Namo
Namo
Amida
me.
Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. We will now have incense offering by the various representatives, beginning with the Dharma School staff, Sharon Sasaki. Dharma School students, Juliana Cruz. Sangha teens, Kobe Kawahara. Junior YBA, Paulina Covarrubias. The Adult Buddhist Association, Greg Yonakuda. Buddhist Women's Association, Katsumi Kida. Taiko Laura Yoshida. Representing the Komon, the past presidents, Joyce Teague. From the Buddhist temple, Kurt Yasuhara. Thank you. At this time, we'll have Smitty Sensei introduce Reverend Iwohara to to the Sangha, and he will present his message to the Dharma school.
So as Ralph said, today our guest speaker for Gotan-E is Reverend John Iwohara of the Gardena Buddhist Church. And I thought it was interesting to know that Reverend Iwohara grew up as a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist. And in his youth, he attended services, just like many of you are today, going to Dharma school. And he also attended a Japanese school at the Los Angeles Hompa Honganji Buddhist Temple, or Nishi Betsuin. And at Nishi, he also played sports on the temple's, I think it was basketball and baseball teams. Is that right, Sensei? Okay. Here he was an all-star. And he was... and he was a member also of the Junior YBA, something some of you can relate to. And as an adult, he also taught Dharma school at Nishi. But Iwohara Sensei went on to hold degrees from UCLA, where he got a BA in psychology, Wilfrid Lahr University, where he got an MA in social and community psychology, and Rikoku University in Kyoto, where he got an MA and PhD in Shinshu Studies. And then after being ordained as a minister, Reverend Iwohara served BCA as the Fresno Betsuin Buddhist, at the Fresno Betsuin Buddhist Temple, the Vista Buddhist Temple, Seattle Betsuin Buddhist Temple, Venice Honganji Buddhist Temple, and currently, as I said, the resident minister of Gardena Buddhist Church. Now, I had some other nice little information about him, but I learned something just this morning, which made me like him even more. I mean, I liked him already, but but this just put him over the top with me. And that he's in the process of adopting what could be a stray or abandoned kitty. So it's I think sometimes it's easy to take a dog into your life, because dogs just, they love everybody. They show you that. They wag their tails. They almost wag their whole behind and let you know that they're really happy that you're their person. Cats aren't so much the same. Cats sometimes don't show that same thank you, that same love and gratitude for you taking care of them. So it does take somebody with compassion to take in a stray kitty, or at least try to find out if the kitty's lost, and maybe the owner is looking for it, or maybe the kitty was abandoned and the owner just couldn't take care of it and didn't do the right thing of taking them to a shelter. But anyways, Sensei has found it in his heart to work on adopting this cat. So I don't know if it's going to come up at all in his talk, but I just wanted you to know that beyond the wonderful Dharma message I've heard him give in the past, this really put him way up there in my list. So here, as our guest speaker for Gotan-E, is Reverend Iwohara.
Before I begin, is this being recorded? It is, okay. I will not make the comment then. は偶然のご縁達成にももう愛がたく真実の上心奥行にも得がたしたまたま行心を得ば遠く祝宴を喜べとなまんだ。The powerful condition of the widely promised vow is difficult to meet even in many births. The true and real pure faith is difficult to gain even in hundreds of millions of kalpa. If you should happen to gain the practice in faith, rejoice in the distant, latent karmic conditions. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me to be your speaker here at this Gotan-E service. There is a correction that I would like to make. First of all, thank you to Reverend Smitty for that wonderful introduction, but I do not have the PhD. So I attended Ryukoku University before they switched to the PhD program, and so I finished the doctorate courses of their D.Lit program, but did not receive the degree. So what's that thing called? Truth in advertising or whatever. But the passage that I quoted to begin is taken from a work that is often called the Kyogyo Shinsho. And I said that it's often called the Kyogyo Shinsho because that's not its actual title. The actual title is Ken Jodo Shinjitsu Kyogyo Sho Monrui. And that is a very long title. And that's why everyone uses the name Kyogyo Shinsho as an abbreviation instead. And you might be thinking, that doesn't sound anything like the abbreviated title. How does Ken Jodo Shinjitsu Kyogyo Sho Monrui become Kyogyo Shinsho? Well, it's like calling someone Bill when their actual name is William. That's neither here nor there, but the Kyogyo Shinsho is very important to our tradition. In fact, we use the year that the Kyogyo Shinsho was written as the year that Jodo Shinshu was founded. That's how important this book is to us. Within the Kyogyo Shinsho is the Shoshin Nembutsuge, which is what we chanted today. And because of that, the Shoshin Nembutsuge also becomes very, very important. Now, the Kyogyo Shinsho is the main text of our tradition, but it isn't the only text that we rely on. Shinran Shonin wrote many different texts, one of which includes writing hundreds of poems called wasan. And these are often chanted together with the Shoshin Nembutsuge. But today we're gathered for the Gotan-E service. And this is a service where we hold to commemorate the birth of our founder, Shinran Shonin. Now, we are celebrating a birthday today, and we also celebrate a birthday in April, the birth of Shakyamuni Buddha. But I'm sure that many of you have noticed that Jodo Shinshu temples tend to emphasize memorial days more than we do birthdays. For example, Hoonko is the most important religious observance we hold in our religious calendar, and that is the service we hold to commemorate the memorial service for Shinran Shonin. But I'd like to make another correction of what I said, because when I said we tend to emphasize memorial days more than we do birthdays, that was a little misleading. When worded that way, it sounds like I'm saying we emphasize death more than we do birth, but that simply isn't true. And the passage that I quoted also makes that point very clear. In the passage, Shinran Shonin is telling us that we can be born again and again and again, and even if we did, it would still be difficult for us to meet with Jodo Shinshu. In other words, Shinran Shonin is letting us know that hearing the name Namo Amida Butsu is not something to take for granted. It is not an easy thing to be able to do. And yet, here we are. So, show of hands, please. How many of you heard Namo Amida Butsu even today? Most of you. All of you. Thank you. But in order for you to have heard Namo Amida Butsu here at the San Diego Buddhist Temple, something very, very special and important had to occur first. What do you think that was or is? I'll give you a hint. Today is the celebration of Gotan-E. The very, very important thing that had to happen first was everyone here. Oh, okay, yes? Yes. Birth? Yes. Very good. Excellent. That's right. In order for this service to happen the way it is happening now, we all had to be born first. In fact, there's nobody here who could be here without having been born first. Isn't that incredible? Think about it. Everyone here had to be born. Everyone. I'm not sure why some of you don't seem to be as excited as I am. Especially because if you weren't born, you couldn't be here right now. You couldn't possibly sit next to the person you're sitting next to if you weren't born. And that person sitting next to you also couldn't be there if they weren't born. Birth, well, sit next to someone next time. Birth is a very big deal. And that's why we celebrate it. And what we're celebrating today is even bigger than that, because on top of that, on top of everyone here having to have been born first, we're all meeting at a Jodo Shinshu temple. And in the passage that I began with, Shinran Shonin is basically saying what took me about 5 minutes to say. In the passage that I quoted as the Gosandai, Shinran Shonin is also saying, if I wasn't born, I could not have met with Namo Amida Butsu. There, you heard it again. Namo Amida Butsu. And I'm sure that you've heard it more here in the last 5 minutes than you did the entire week before coming to the temple. And there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is because everything that is happening here today is meant to help you to hear Namo Amida Butsu. And if you can hear Namo Amida Butsu, really hear it, you will see how it is calling out to you, saying that the wisdom and compassion that allowed me to become a Buddha, to become Namo Amida Butsu, is completely being shared with you and covering you like a warm light. It is a light that lets you know that your birth is incredible. That because of your birth, you have become able to hear Namo Amida Butsu. And when that happens, you will come to understand and know that instead of just dying, you will be born in my land, in my pure land, or the Pure Land of Amida Buddha. Because this is true for all of us, we are being told that each and every one of us will become a Buddha. Memorial services are special, and that's why we hold so many of them. There is, unfortunately, sadness associated with these types of services, our funerals and memorials. And there is absolutely no reason to deny our sadness. But at the funeral service and at the memorial services, we are at the same time rejoicing, because we are at the same time also celebrating a birth with a capital B. We are rejoicing the birth of a person into the Pure Land of Amida Buddha. And so at our services, we celebrate birth, first as a human being who is able to hear Namo Amida Butsu, and then birth as a Buddha. But Shinran Shonin is also reminding us, making sure that we completely understand that we need to celebrate our birth as a human being first, especially because it was as a human being that we were able to hear Namo Amida Butsu. And we hold this service here today to be reminded of all of these things. We do gather to celebrate Shinran Shonin's birthday. On the other hand, through Shinran Shonin's birthday, we are also being reminded to celebrate our birth as well. And if we are able to hear Namo Amida Butsu, we also know that we will be able to celebrate not just our birth here as a human being, but our birth in the Pure Land, where we go to become a Buddha as well. And with this kind of assurance, it should become easier for us to celebrate each other as well, because the person sitting next to you is going to become a Buddha. And if we can celebrate each other, then it also makes it possible for us to become a Sangha, or a Sangha of co-equal friends and co-equal practitioners of the Nembutsu. We celebrate our birth. We celebrate the birth of the person sitting next to us. We celebrate the birth of all those that have come before us. We celebrate the birth of all those that will follow, because birth is just that important. And how cool is that? With that thought, please allow me to conclude my Dharma School message and to thank everyone once again for allowing me to come and share my message with all of you here at this very, very wonderful observance of Shinran Shonin's birthday. Thank you. Namanda, namanda, namanda.
Thank you very much, Reverend John, for your message on this very special day with the birth of Shinran and the importance of our birthdays as well, and with the significance of Namo Amida Butsu. At this time, will everyone please rise for the Gatha Shinran Sama? Can be found on page 141 of the service book. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, we'll have our temple president, Kurt Yasuhara, come up for words of appreciation.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to today's service. I'm glad to see so many of you out here today. I'd like to thank the Reverends, Reverend Smitty and Reverend Johnny O'Hara, especially Reverend Johnny O'Hara, who came down from Gardena last night, drove through traffic to be here today to deliver such wonderful messages to us. So thank you for that. I'm going to leave the other thank yous to the host for the service, but take the opportunity to meet with others and thank them for coming to make it a nice big Sangha today. And take the opportunity to thank Robert Yamamoto for his wonderful music, because today is his birthday. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kurt. Happy birthday, Robert. Are there any announcements at this time?
Let me just remind everybody that the temple will be having its annual Culture Bazaar on Sunday, June 1st. We are in need of volunteers. There is a sign-up sheet downstairs in the office. Thank you.
Good morning, and happy birthday, Shinran Shonin. In celebration of Gotan-E, the Fujinkai, or FBWA, not FBWA, BWA, Buddhist Women's Association, has prepared otoki for everyone who attended the service today, so please be sure to get one before you leave the foyer there. And downstairs, we're going to have two samples, different kinds of samples. One is onion rings, and the other is croquet. And they're made with panko. Panko's on sale. This big bag is $3, and we'll be selling it downstairs too. So be sure to stop in and get some samples and purchase if you want to. Thanks.
Today, following the service, our Gotan-E service, there'll be a seminar being held that will be held in the annex, and it will be a seminar on addiction, a subject that I'm sure all of us would like to have a little bit more education on. And this will be led by Smitty Sensei and Judy Nakatomi from the Vista Buddhist Temple, and Didi Just, also from Vista, will be zooming in. And they will be the presenters, and that will begin somewhere around noon in the annex. So everyone is invited to come to attend the workshop, and it'll run till about 2 o'clock, and there will be a light lunch served as well, or you can have your otoki, your chirashi, over in the annex during the presentation. Next weekend, as you know, is Memorial Weekend. There are activities going on. I believe Dharma School is going camping next weekend. Sounds like a fun trip. On Saturday, Smitty Sensei and Arturo Sensei will be in the Imperial Valley officiating the cemetery services out there. And then there will be a service on Sunday, Dharma service, but no Dharma school that day. And then on Monday will be the Community Memorial Day service at Mountain Hope Cemetery. So everyone is welcome to attend that service, which begins at 9:30. And then I announced this last week, but I'll make another announcement, is that with the Obon season coming up, we'll be having our Obon on August 2nd, but on the weekend of August 15th and 17th, the temple is chartering a bus to attend the Obon at the Las Vegas Buddhist Sangha. So this is the weekend of August 15th through 17th, and the cost is $290 if you'd like to sleep two to a room, $373 for single occupancy. We will be lodging at the Main Street Station Hotel in downtown, heading off to the Obon Odori on Saturday, and then coming back to San Diego on Sunday. So if you're interested, there's a sign up downstairs in the office. Put your names down if you're interested, and the deadline to register is July 1st. Okay. If there are no other announcements, this concludes the Dharma School portion of the service. I'd like to thank Smitty Sensei and John Sensei, Iwohara Sensei for officiating and as our guest speaker today. Of course, to Arturo Rubio for bringing the Kansho, and for Sharon Sensei for setting up the Onaijin. Of course, to Robert for his musical accompanist today, and to our tech team of Ricky, Bill, and Brevin for helping us live stream the service, and to all of you for attending this morning. And so at this time, the Dharma School is excused to their activity, which will be in the room 7. Okay, room 7. Okay, so please come up for Oshoko, and you're excused. Okay, we will now continue with the adult portion of the service, and we will begin by the chanting of the Vandana Tisarana, page 96.
And as usual, please join me in chanting all parts, whether they are listed for leader or Sangha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kie Butsu. Namo Kie Ho. Namo Kie So. Gasho Namanda 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 Namanda.
I'd like to introduce Reverend Iwohara Sensei again. He will share his Dharma message.
およそ誓願について真実の行信あり、また方便の行信あり、その真実の行の願は諸仏称名の願なり、その真実の真の願は四神真行の願なり、これすなわち戦弱本願の行信なり、その木はすなわち一切全幕大小凡宮なり、往生はすなわち何時義往生なり、仏道はすなわち法仏法道なり、これすなわち誓願不可思議一日信用会なり、大無量儒教の周知他力新種の所意なりと。Indeed, with regards to the promised vows, there is a true and real practice in faith, and again, there is the expedient practice and faith. The vow on the true and real practice is the vow of the various Buddha praising the name. The vow on the true and real faith is the vow of the reached heart and joyous faith. This, in other words, is the practice and faith of the selected fundamental vow. The aggregate is, in other words, all the good and bad, large and small, and the simple and foolish. The birth of going is, in other words, the birth of going that is difficult to fathom. The Buddha and land is, in other words, the actualized Buddha and the actualized land. This, in other words, is a promised vow that is inconceivable, the single reality, the ocean of true correspondence. It is the essential impetus of the larger sutra of immeasurable life. It is the correct meaning of the true essence of other power. Namanda. The passage that I read for the Gosandai is part of what is known as the words before the verse. This was the main focus of last night's seminar or study session that was held here. As mentioned last night, the words before the verse is how Shinran Shonin introduces the Shoshin Nembutsuge to us. And the Shoshin Nembutsuge is again what it was that we chanted as part of today's Gotan-E service. And as previously mentioned again, Gotan-E is when we celebrate the birthday of Shinran Shonin. For my adult message, I would like to first share a story that I'm sure that many of you, if not all of you, are already familiar with. It is a story that begins with a dream. And there was a queen who dreamt that a white elephant with 6 tusks entered her right side. Startled, she awoke and immediately rushed over to the king to tell the king about their dream. The king, hearing the dream, was surprised and said, "This is a wonderful dream. Let us call the sages and have them interpret this incredible dream of yours." And when the dream was retold, all of the counselors began to smile. And the king asked, "Why are you smiling?" "King, queen, this is a dream that lets us know that the queen is with child, and that the child that will be born will either become the Chakravartin king or the king of kings, or will become a great sage that will bring peace to the entire world." Rejoicing in hearing such wonderful news, the king and queen blissfully went back to sleep. As the birth of the child approached, the queen asked the king if they could go and visit their parents. And so an entourage was created, and the queen began to move towards her birthplace. En route, because the queen was tiring of the journey, the queen saw a beautifully blossoming garden and asked if she could take a respite there. And she walked over to a tree, reached up to the branches of the tree that was blooming with wonderful flowers, and in that moment, from her right armpit, the child was born. After being born, the child took 7 steps to the east, 7 steps south, 7 steps west, 7 steps north, pointed up, pointed down, and declared, "Heavens above, heavens below, I alone and the world honored one." And upon hearing this declaration, the heavens were so overjoyed that they caused a sweet, gentle rain to fall to bathe and cleanse the baby. Now, before you think, "Uh-oh, he's lost all his marbles," please let me reassure everyone that I have not mistaken Gotan-E for Hanamatsuri, which was held last month to celebrate the birthday of Shakyamuni Buddha. But in saying that I have not lost all my marbles, I do want to mention that I do recognize that I have lost some of them. And so I am quite conscious of that fact. But I wanted to share the story of Shakyamuni Buddha's birthday today because one of our first reactions to hearing a story told like this is, impossible. And the reaction, I think, this reaction, I think, is a very important one for Jodo Shinshu Buddhists to have. And I say this because in self-power Buddhism, if you want to become a Buddha on your own merits, then we need to become like Shakyamuni Buddha. In other words, we need to have qualities that would have allowed us as an infant to take 7 steps in each of the 4 directions, point up and down, and declare, heavens above and heavens below, I alone am the world honored one. But if we are required to have these kinds of abilities, let me next ask, when did you take your first steps? Was it immediately after birth? When did you begin to understand which way east was, south, west, or north? When did you first start speaking? What did you first say when you started speaking? Was it a sentence like heavens above and heavens below, I alone am the world honored one? And when you did speak, was it immediately after he had just finished taking 28 steps? Immediately after your birth? Given that this is probably nothing that any of us have done ourselves, how many chances do you think that we would need being born over and over and over again for us to be able to do any one of these things, let alone all of them in succession? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how difficult it would be for us to become a Buddha through self-power. Becoming enlightened is not easy. Fortunately, self-power is not the only way. Shinran Shonin lived their lives to help us to be able to hear and rely on the other power teaching that is taught within Buddhism. And we have been told about the working of other power in our lives through the Buddha's name, Namo Amida Butsu, that was established just for us. It is such a wonderful name, in fact, that we are told that all of the Buddhas throughout the 10 directions praise and say the name so that we do not need to take 7 steps in each of the 4 directions, point up and down, and make a declaration. We no longer need to declare anything. All we need to do is hear and receive. And it is because of this working that we are made to hear and realize that we are embraced and not forsaken. We are being helped to recognize that our lives have meaning and value without any mixing of doubt, especially because we are constantly receiving this reassurance from all of the Buddha. And when we come to understand this, when we accept this reassurance, this is what it means to have received the heart of faith. This is what we call Shinjin. To recognize and realize that the lives that we have received are special. And with this reassurance, Shinran Shonin tells us that we no longer need to worry if we are good enough, if we are bad enough, or if we are big enough or small enough. We do not need to worry about whether we are too simple or too foolish. We are allowed to appreciate the fact that I was born and that my life is proof enough. I'm going to repeat that. My life is proof enough. It is an assurance that is so deep that we come to understand that nothing can take that reassurance away from us, including death. Death, in other words, has been transcended. It has been conquered. Death has been resolved. And instead of death, we now go to be born. We become a Buddha in an actualized land, meeting together with an actualized Buddha. In other words, Shinran Shonin is telling us that we become part of the truth itself. We become the inconceivable, the single reality, the ocean of true correspondence. And because of this, we come to recognize and realize that our lives do not end in darkness. Instead, our lives become a beacon to guide those who follow us. We become a beacon just like Shinran Shonin is for each and all of us gathered here today. And to some, perhaps many of you, this might sound like gobbledygook to you. But at the same time, I'm pretty confident that if I asked any of you, is there somebody that is no longer with us? And when put in that way, a person without faith would simply say, a person who died. Is there a person in your life who is no longer physically with us, who continues to be a beacon in your life? And I'm pretty sure that most, if not everyone that I asked, would say, yes, there is. My father, for example, I'll put it in the way that a person without faith would say it, died more than 10 years ago. And yet, he still guides me. He still comforts me. He still reminds me of the things that are important. And these are the things that I try to share with my children. Shinran Shonin is that light as well. And it is why we are gathered here today at this Gotan-E service to celebrate the life of a person who was born more than 9 centuries ago, or more than 850 years ago. We are able to celebrate this long. And the reason why we are able to do that is because we have come to understand that a life does not just disappear. A life does not just end. And through participating in our service, we are participating in that truth. Even within the 100-year history of this temple, I'm sure that everyone here can remember someone who used to sit over there. And they would always come to service. They would always be saying Namo Amida Butsu. They were a beacon. They are a beacon. They were a role model for everyone. And we recognize that their lives are still a part of what it is that we continue to celebrate. And in holding this service today, we are also reaffirming that Shinran Shonin's life does continue to have meaning. It has meaning like all lives do, because through these lives, we are being helped to participate in and receive the gift of life that is immeasurable. This is the gift of Namo Amida Butsu. And because it is a gift, it is what is being given to us. And it is being given to us through the activity of other power. But because it is being given to us, we still need to receive. And that's why the temple becomes a special and an important place. It is where we practice how to give, how to receive, how to share, how to celebrate, how to praise, how to see things that we typically take for granted, and how to appreciate just how big and wonderful a life really is. We are being helped here especially to see that each and every life is immeasurable, and because it is, how much we really have to celebrate whenever we celebrate a life. With this thought, please allow me to conclude my message and to thank everyone once again for allowing me to come and share my appreciation of the Nembutsu here at the San Diego Buddhist Temple. Thank you. Namanda, 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 namanda.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Reverend John, for your message this morning on this very important day, and how the significance of self-power and other power is present in our lives, and how we reflect on both the Amida Buddha and Shinran in our path toward becoming a Buddha. At this time, will everyone please rise for the Gatha Ondok-san on page 128. Please remain standing for closing meditation. May the wisdom of the all-compassionate one be shine within our hearts and minds, that the mists of error and the foolish vanity of self be dispelled. So shall we understand the changing nature of existence and reach spiritual peace. Gasho. Namo Amidabs. Namo Amidabs. Namo Amidabs. Namo Amidabs. Thank you. You may be seated. Well, this concludes our Gotan-E service, our commemoration of Shinran's birthday for 2025. Thank you again to our guest speaker, Reverend John Iwohara from Gardena Buddhist Church, for traveling to San Diego yesterday to provide us with a very meaningful seminar and for sharing his Dharma message today. Everyone is welcome to join hospitality downstairs in the dining room. And if you're interested, you may, and please pick up your otoki from the BWA as well. And if you're interested, please go next door to the annex hall for the seminar that will be starting somewhere around noon, shortly after noon. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and please come up for incense offering. Thank you.